Well, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining me for the Take a Hike, Spot an Invasive, Map Your Findings event training. My name is Amy Jewett, and I am the Pennsylvania iMapInvasives Program Coordinator. And I'm going to be explaining this new event that our program is hosting and go over the details so everyone knows what to do and how to participate. So I'll go ahead and get started. My presentation that I'm using is in the form of a story map, so I'm going to be scrolling through things rather than advancing through PowerPoint slides. So the purpose of the Take a Hike, Spot an Invasive, Map Your Findings event there's several things to it. So first and foremost, we're wanting to encourage participants to search for invasive species occurrences that are found in our natural areas throughout Pennsylvania. So that's going to include places like parks and forests and game lands and those sorts of places. So we're hoping to focus our participant survey efforts on just a limited number of invasive species, so 2 per individual based on the county where you choose to survey at. And the reason why we did this is to try to keep your focus limited as far as what you're searching for. Certainly, I think many of us know there are many invasive species out there, and it can be overwhelming when you think about searching for all of them. So the purpose of this event was to limit the number of species that you're searching for and kind of keep your focus a bit better. We're also hoping that this event can increase the amount of data that we have available in the iMapInvasives database, which is used by a variety of people, such as natural resource professionals, land managers, and others across Pennsylvania. And also, we're hoping that this event can help to aid you as a participant in recognizing that there really is a lot of species in Pennsylvania, a lot of species that are considered fairly common to be invasive, and also to be looking for newly emerging species in your local natural areas. So these are ones that you may not be familiar with, so we'd like to get them on your radar. So as far as what you'll need to know in order to participate, so there's the who, what, when, where, and some additional info that I'd like to cover. So the who is you and your technology of choice. So either a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop or laptop computer. And so you'll need some sort of technology in order to actually record your findings of the species that you are searching for based on the county where you'll be surveying at. So you're searching for and reporting both presence and absence data for the 2 invasive species, again, based on the county or counties where you choose to survey in. You'll be doing your surveys and collecting your data, submitting that into iMapInvasives throughout the month of July, so July 1 through 31. And again, you'll be looking for those species that are based on the county where you want to survey at in those natural areas across our state. So the parks, forests, game lands, etc. I'd ask that you not report cultivated occurrences of these species if you come across them. So plantings like in yards, gardens, and public spaces are not what we're after or interested in. So please do not report any of those cultivated occurrences. Also, as far as additional information, plan to decide, what county or counties you do want to survey in. And then again, the information I'm going to share as I keep going through here is going to help you know what those species are. And then once you know what the species are that you'll be looking for, please thoroughly research those species, know what they are, what they look like, their look-alike species, and their distinguishing characteristics. So that's going to be a really important component of this event. And I do provide information that you can do that research on your own. So there is additional information outside of what I'm providing here. So look for resources that are available from the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Penn State Extension, and also Pennsylvania Sea Grant. Other trustworthy resources can include those that are provided by state agencies, universities, and cooperative extension services. Again, really important to get to know those species distinguishing characteristics that you plan to survey for, so that you can then know how to tell those species apart from potential lookalike species. And you also know what to capture in your observation photographs so that your records can be expert confirmed or expert reviewed and confirmed in the IMAP database. Also, I just put in here, don't fall into the you don't know what you don't know trap. And by that, I mean that sometimes we feel that we know a species pretty well. And so we feel like we don't need to research it any further. But I would say maybe there's something about that species that you're not aware of. Maybe there's a habitat that it can be found in that you're not aware of, or a particular distinguishing characteristic that's not on your radar currently. So again, even if you feel familiar with some of these species, please do take the time to research them thoroughly by these trustworthy resources that are available online, and just do that homework ahead of time so that you are thoroughly informed about each of the species that you'll be searching for. Okay, so now we're going to get into the actual species list by geography. So there's a map that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. The map is clickable, so you can actually click on a particular county that you plan to survey in and learn what species, 2 species for that county you're going to be asked to search for. There's also a list below this map, and I'll show that here in just a moment, but I'll give you a teaser there, that provides links to some online resources that have tips on species identification, lookalikes, preferred habitat, and more information. And also, just for reference, our common and emerging species that were chosen for each county were based on available data that was in iMapInvasives, iNaturalist, and also we utilized our own internal Pennsylvania Natural Heritage Program staff and their field expertise when choosing the species that we chose. So the common species and emerging species, I just wanted to make sure I take a moment and define what we mean by those 2 terms. So the common species are ones that are going to be frequently found in a particular area or region, and an emerging species is going to be one that's less frequently found in an area or region. So just to give you a demonstration of how to use this map, so you can actually click right here on one of these counties. So I'm clicking here on Berks County, and we can see the 2 species that you're going to be searching for if you choose to survey in Berks County. So wineberry and Japanese hops. You can zoom in on this map if you'd like to and pan around. Again, you can click on any other county and get that same information, and the species will differ based on the county that you click on. So if we keep going down here, here is a full list of all of the species that you'll be searching for based on the county where you'd like to survey at. So again, we had clicked on Berks earlier. So here we can see wineberry. So I'm going to click right on that wineberry hyperlink. It's going to take me to a resource that was produced by the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. So please thoroughly read through this, find other trustworthy resources about wineberry and read up on it. Get a lot of good visuals on what this species looks like. So again, you know what you're searching for when you're in the field and what habitats to search for. And then same thing for the other species for Berks County. This is Japanese hops. This is more of an emerging species for that region. And same thing, please just make sure that you're reading through this resource and seek out other resources as well and read up on these species so that you're very familiar with them. Okay, so to participate in this Take a Hike event, you do need to have a registered iMapInvasives user account, which is free to obtain. So in order to get an account, if you visit paimapinvasives.org, which is our program's website, if you click on either the register or login button, it will take you to the same page. And you can see here, this is a sign up form that you can complete to request an account. If you already have an account, you can go ahead and sign into iMapInvasives here with your email and your password. Okay. And you can click here on this button as well within the StoryMap, and it will take you to that same sign up form. If you do already have an iMapInvasives account but forget your password, there is a forgot password link that you can click on to reset your password if necessary. So there's just some screenshots here to help you through that process if you need that assistance. So as far as reporting your findings, again, that's data that's going to go into iMapInvasives, and we're interested in both presence and absence findings. So essentially, when you're looking for the two species in the county where you plan to survey, if you're looking for wineberry and you find it, please report presence information for that. If you look in certain areas and do not find it, please report what we refer to as not detected data, or here I'm just calling it absence data in iMapInvasives. So whether or not you find what you're looking for, you should be reporting data either way to iMapInvasives. There is several ways that you can report your data to iMapInvasives. We have a classic iMapInvasives mobile app. We also have an app that we utilize with Survey 123. And then, of course, there's the iMapInvasives online platform that you can use as well. Each of these links will take you to a video tutorial that goes through how to use them if you're not already familiar. And I'll just scroll down here really quick and show you that those videos are embedded here within the StoryMap, so you can actually watch them here directly in the StoryMap as well. So you can get a better understanding of how to report your data. Again, making sure that you do already have a login account when you are ready to submit your data, because if you don't, you won't be able to submit the information. And also, just for reference, once you have either or both of the apps downloaded onto your preferred device, they do not need to have a Wi-Fi or cell phone or cell reception connection in order to use the app. So you can be almost anywhere and still be able to use these apps with no issue. Although I will mention, when you're ready to upload your collected data from either of your apps to the actual iMap database, you will need to have an internet connection in order to do that. This table just gives you a little bit more information about the data that you can capture with the various data entry methods. So here you can see with the online database, you can do everything basically. You can capture that presence and not detected information, points, as well as lines and polygons. And then you can do additional things outside of just data collection, like viewing species distributions, creating reports and exports, and email alerts as well. And here you can see there's a few differences then with the apps. The classic mobile app is kind of our basic data entry method, where you can collect just that presence and not detected information, point data only. Again, both of the apps are functional without that internet connection or cell reception. Whereas compared to the classic mobile app, Survey 123 can do all of these things. It is a bit more advanced, so if you want to try that out, please feel free to do so. But if you're looking for more of a simplified data collection platform, the classic mobile app may be a better choice for you. Okay, so I want to just mention a few things as you are capturing and collecting your data as you're surveying out in the field. And this is primarily for when you're collecting presence information. Several tips to keep in mind: that photography really does matter when you're capturing photos of invasive species. So tip number one is to take up close images of the species that you're observing. Make sure that you're avoiding taking photos from a distance. Take photos that are clear and crisp. Try to avoid taking photos that are blurry or fuzzy. Ensure that your camera is focused on the species that you are observing, that target species, and not the background vegetation. So just slow down when you're taking your photos. Make sure that your camera is focused on what you want it to be focused on. Tip number 4 is really important. This goes back to making sure that you're doing your research and homework and really thoroughly understanding each of these species that you are to be looking for in the county that you want to survey in. And that is to ensure that your images are capturing that species' distinguishing characteristics. This is going to make sure that your observation data that gets submitted to IMAP can be confirmed by a species expert, and then later actually usable in the database. And ultimately, that's going to help us to differentiate this species from a potential lookalike, is if you are capturing those distinguishing characteristics. And then when possible, include something in your image that helps to show scale or the size of the target species that you're photographing. So something like your hand or a coin or a ruler are all good things that help to show scale. So as an example here in this image on the left, this is a photo of giant knotweed. And the person who was taking the image, you can see, included a photo of their hand as well. So we can see the large size of this leaf, which is one of the distinguishing characteristics of this species, as well as the heart-shaped base of the leaf. This photo was taken from a distance. I cannot tell what maybe the species was, whether it was this purple flower, pink flower here, which could be purple loosestrife, but it's really hard to say from this distance. These reeds or cattails might have been something too, but again, from this distance and no distinguishing characteristics included, it's really impossible to utilize this type of photograph to confirm a record. So please make sure you're up close when you're taking your images. And then the image here on the right, this is a photo of someone trying to photograph Mila minute vine, but you can see their camera was actually focused on the background vegetation, which actually does include another invasive species, which is Japanese stiltgrass. But nonetheless, this is where you just really need to slow down and make sure that your camera is focusing on what you want it to focus on. So you may be wondering why we are asking folks to collect that absence or not detected information. And really, for purposes of this event, it's going to help myself and others to get a good visual understanding of where all of our participants are conducting their surveys across the state, so we can get that good visual perspective right inside IMAP. But there's other reasons why not detected information can be useful within iMapInvasives and then utilized by natural resource professionals. So it can help to show that an area is not currently impacted by a particular species, and so no treatment is needed. Perhaps prevention and monitoring may be more of an appropriate action for that area. It can also show that if an infestation is found at a later time, that absence data can suggest how long a species population may have been there, and help to determine whether eradication or management is the best course of action. Absence data can also be used to answer questions about the range, rate of spread, habitat requirements, and invasiveness of a species, and also helps to distinguish between the lack of data or search effort and actual absence of a species in an area. So all of those things help to make the purpose of gathering that absence or not detected information a really valuable piece of this event. So when you are collecting your data for this Take a Hike event, you want to make sure that you're tagging it to a particular project in iMapInvasives, and that project is called the 2023 Take a Hike event. So there's information listed here on how to do that, how to go in and request to be part of that project. And I will note that if you are already an existing iMapInvasives registered user and have registered for this event, very likely you have already been added as a member of this project. So this is something that you shouldn't actually have to do. There is a chance that you haven't already been added. So if needed, double check your project membership by accessing your account from the iMapInvasives main menu when you're logged into the online database, and just checking that project section of your account profile. So here's just a screenshot of what it looks like if you do need to request to join that project, and where you'll click that button to do so. And again, the information that's shown here on the page will help you to know what to do. So once you've submitted data, you can go into iMapInvasives into the online database and view those records at any time. Or you can also see what other Take a Hike participants have submitted as well. So if you log into the online database from the main map page, there's a button called Filter Records. If you click on that, in the General tab of the Filter Records tool, there's a project section right here. And if you query specifically for the 2023 Take a Hike event, you can pull up that information then by clicking the apply filter. And then over on the far right-hand side, if you turn on the confirmed, unconfirmed, approximate, and not detected data layers, all of the applicable information will then show up on the map. And you can zoom in on the map to get a closer look and click on any of that information to see who it's from and who's submitting it. So again, as I mentioned earlier on, this event will begin the 1st of July and end the end of July on July 31st. So again, during this time, make sure that you are taking a hike in your local natural areas like parks, forests, and game lands, and search for your assigned 2 invasive species based on the county where you choose to survey. And make sure that you're reporting your presence and absence data directly to iMapInvasives, either through one of the apps or the online database. And at the end of August, 5 participants will be randomly chosen as the winners of this event. So in order to qualify as a prize winner, you must enter at least one presence or absence record into iMapInvasives for each of your county assigned invasive species based on where you conduct your surveys and based on your findings. Each of the 5 winners will receive a prize package of outdoor related gear and a hard copy of an invasive species field guide. So just as a reminder, make sure that you're please tagging your presence and absence data to the 2023 Take a Hike event project in iMapInvasives. And also as a reminder, you do not need to submit any presence data in order to qualify as a prize winner. So if you have any questions about this event, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. My preferred way of reaching out to me is through email, which is ajewett@paconserve.org, or I can be reached at my office phone, which is 412-586-2305. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope that everyone has fun with their surveys, and I wish you the best of luck and enjoy your summer.